Want to interview somebody, you can do it on the street.
We're not interviewing somebody.
Whatever it is, you can't be here if you don't live here.
You live in this community?
In this community.
Exactly. So you can't talk for the community.
Shut the fuck up, man.
You can't talk
Just
for
keep
the
it
community.
moving.
I'm not moving.
Just keep it moving. Let me explain something.
Why are you running up on me?
You run up on me. Let me explain something to you. I just got two. Excuse me. I don't want to be filmed, sir.
I'm out here at Flatbush Gardens, where the NYPD 67 precinct murdered Dwayne Jeune. And you see the man from Flatbush Garden Patrol Security over there who decided he wanted to lie and say that people were calling for us not to be out here, saying that this is private property, but yet none of the residents are asking us to leave. But yet, this is the reason why Dwayne Jeune ended up being murdered. The mother called security, and security called the cops. And as a result of that, this brother is lost. Now, a lot of people came in and they did their spiel, they did their political rhetoric because they want to basically be, re-elected. I'm not out here for re-election. I'm not here for any type of election. I'm out here as a cop watcher and a member of this community. Simple as that. I've been out here from day one, from when this happened. The media was out here as well. I was out here. Community residents were out here, and nobody was told to leave at this point. Until now that we're here, majority of us people of color, we're out here, and this is when he wants to come out here and say, oh, I want you to leave. First he lied and said because it was a protest, which is not a protest, it's a press conference. Then he lied and said that he lives in this community when he actually admitted after that he works in this community. This is the problem. We have too many people that don't live in this community causing the deaths of people in our community. Yeah. Starting from the security, all the way to the cops, all the way to the public officials that don't live out here. Because the blood of everybody who we have lost is on their hands. Now, one thing I want to get straight. Dwayne Jeune didn't do anything illegal. He was committing any crime. He was a mentally ill person with a mental health illness. Simple as that. Mental health illness. About 85 to 90% of people in New York have a mental health illness. Now, if that's a crime, then they need to lock out the officers. They need to lock up most of these security officials because they have a mental health illness, being the fact that they are out here committing these atrocities against people because of the color of their skin and because of the class that they're in. Let's be straight about that. Nobody who was suffering from a mental health illness or anybody who's black or brown deserves to be murdered just because of who they are. And we're tired of this. Like I said, I could have any official out here, but me being a member of this community, I'm gonna talk about it. Because that's what we're missing. We're missing the true narrative about what's going on out here. This poisonous, toxic masculinity, this poisonous, arbitrary type of tactics, this poisonous, racist policing has to stop today. Jamani Williams came out here the other day and said that, oh, we need to have an overhaul and we need to stop the police and we need to investigate them. He's been saying that every time that there's been a murder, but never said anything in between. He only waits for the cameras to come out. He brings out these pastors and these community officials who don't come out at all. You don't see them on the street corners. You don't see them in the community. You only see them only inside of their houses collecting money on their plates to pay for their bills and their trips and their second houses. So I'm gonna be real with this. At the end of the day, when you come into our community, you have to abide by our community rules. So that means do not brutalize us. That means do not murder us. Do not murder our families. Simple as that. The fact that a person could come out here to speak for the community and speak on behalf of the community is so threatening, tells you how corrupt the police and those who want to be police are. Simple as that. Even for the gentrifiers who call on every little small incident, music playing after 10 o'clock. They've been responsible for a lot of the mass incarceration in our community. They're responsible for a lot of brutality, a lot of murders in our community when it comes to the police. Now I know most of y'all gonna say, yes, well what about the black and black crime? There is no black and black crime because you don't see me going to Long Island or Staten Island calling it white and white crime.
Right.
Simple as that. That narrative is a racist narrative, and anybody who uses that, I don't care if you're black, brown, or white, you're racist. I'm gonna put it out there because we can't talk about gun violence in our community if we don't talk about the gun violence by the NYPD as well too. Yeah. The NYPD has murdered more people in the borough of Brooklyn than any so-called gang in Brooklyn. Yeah. The reason why they call the NYPD the biggest gang in New York. Simple as that. Because it has to stop. Just because they wear blue uniforms that says community affairs does not mean that they're not held liable as well too. They're also held accountable because a lot of times they're only here to keep you complacent and to mask up the wrong that they've done. Now, a lot of y'all have seen the videos up that I posted up on the Cop Watch page where I actually exposed them, the 67 precinct officers, laughing about what happened to Dwayne, Jeune. I'm a Marine Corps veteran. Like I said, I run the Brooklyn sector for Cop Watch Patrolling.
Hoorah.
Every day I see the disgusting behavior, the bias that these police put against our community. People come out here and they want to talk sweet to us. It's gonna be all right. It's gonna stop. It's not gonna stop. And it's not gonna be all right. Because as long as they patrol over us, which is why they get $5.5 billion, it's not for them to protect us, it's for them to oppress us. It's for them to oppress us into a confinement space that causes mental health illnesses. Why do we have depression? Why do we have anxiety? Why are 8-year-old children having PTSD? Why? It's a conditioning that they put upon us. Same way that they have these bright lights out here and they say, well, we're gonna put the bright lights here for your security purposes, but the only thing it's doing is keeping you and your children awake at night. Yep. To where now you're exhausted, you have insomnia. Now that's developing to other issues. But yet they wanna blame you. But yet, it's their condition. Now, all you cop apologists, I understand. You feel you need somebody to lean on. Stop leaning on the ones that's killing your community and lean on your community. Bring about community policing. That's one of the things I want to do. Bring about community policing. Cop Watch has been doing it for years. The Panthers did it for years. The Brown Berets did it for years. The Move did it for years. But look what happened. They murdered them all so that way we can stay complacent. So that way we don't have any more ideologies to go by. So that way we don't have no more examples for us to live by. Yeah. Well, guess what? The new generation is here. We're not complacent. We're not complacent. I just celebrated my 36th birthday 2 days ago, and I had to literally wait up until 12:02 for me to say I made it. We have to walk out of our households and hope that we don't get killed because we're black or brown today. That's a shame. And it's all because of them, the NYPD. It's because of people like de Blasio who wants to pat them on their bottoms and say, it's all right, I'll have your back sometimes, and sometimes I won't have your back when it comes to election because I need re-election by the people. They got people like Jamani Williams and so like that who wants to come out, but yet he's the same one that helped voted in 1,300 cops.
Nah, we ain't having it.
So how many of those 1,300 cops have abused, have intimidated, and has murdered a person of color in their community? How many of them has helped nights in them to kick people out of their households so that way a gentrifier could come in and raise your rent? Tell me about that. It's not separate. It's a whole systematic evolving door. That's what it is. But yet they want to look at us and say, it's all right. They want to look at us and say, it's going to change. They told us that during the Civil Rights Movement. I'm sorry. Me being able to sit anywhere on the bus didn't do anything for me. Me being able to own a business really didn't do anything for me because I was still getting murdered. I was still getting abused. I was still being intimidated and oppressed. And let's not make no mistake of this. Just because I'm a cop watcher, that doesn't give me any privilege because I don't work for the city. It's a grassroots organization. And we expose people. Because they have murdered people. This is not the first time that 67 Precinct has done this. They murdered Chantel Davis. Mm-hmm. They murdered Kamani Gray.
Yep.
And then they threw these lies out there, these narratives, these police narratives out there, because they have a PR person that works full time to do this. So that way they put it out there before the truth comes out. Yep. They do intimidation to the families to keep them silent. Well, where they keep the people silent, I become the voice of the silent. Because I'm not afraid. And I'm telling everybody else out here to not be afraid. Do not bow down to the oppressor. The shackles are off your feet and in your hands. Take them out of your minds. It's time to wake up, people. It's time to wake up. Because a lot of these people in city council ain't helping us. There's a reason why a whole new era is coming in to replace them, so that way it can be for the people, not for the profits, not for the developers, and not for the police that are out here killing us. I understand too, a lot of y'all got police in your family. At the barbecue, they cool with you. But is their partner cool with you on the street when they not around? I understand a lot of y'all say, well, there's good police. Just because they didn't commit that atrocity against our people does not make them good. Their silence equals complacency. That complacency equals acceptance of the violence against us. Yep. That acceptance of the violence against us commits our murder. Yep. Our murder. Every 28 hours, a black and brown woman, man, and child is murdered by the police. Not only in New York, but around this nation. This is not even talking about internationally. Internationally is even worse. But still here, 28 hours. There's 24 hours in a day, so you have 24 hours for you to live your life and the rest of the 4 to pray for. That's a damn shame. We shouldn't be surviving, we should be living. The only way we're going to live is when we stand up. When we rise up, when we say enough is enough, when we take back our communities. Yeah. Because don't ever think that you speaking out too loudly is gonna get you hurt. You just being black and brown is what brings it to you. Because they hate us. But that's not for us to hate ourselves. That's for us to embrace ourselves. Because they love, we love the beauty inside of us. They love the hate that they have against us. Just last week, President Trump endorsed police brutality, officially endorsed police brutality. And this week, a black man died in this community here. But I'm supposed to be scared? I'm supposed to be complacent? That could be me, that could be you, that could be our children out there. Yep. Miss Jeune lost her son. While I was out there patrolling on cop watch, I see him once in a while. Never bothered anybody. Never bothered anybody. I'll give him a nod. If he sees me, he'll give me a nod. Never knew that a cycle would come back around to where I have to be speaking on the fact of that they murdered him. Every single day we go through this. It hurts our souls, it hurts our hearts. They ask us, why are y'all so angry? Why are black people so mad and frustrated? Live our lives and understand why then. Trade your privilege for our oppression and understanding. Because at the end of the day, it's not about politics, it's about life. It's about life. Yeah. Now, if you have privilege, I don't want you out there as a sometime ally. I don't want you out there capitalizing on my struggle. I want you out there putting your body on the line to make sure that my people are safe. Because a lot of y'all who have privilege, if it wasn't for our sacrifices, you wouldn't have it. Trust and believe. Trust and believe. If it wasn't for the tier system that the system created, a lot of y'all wouldn't have this privilege because they needed y'all to divide from us. So let me give y'all a history lesson right there. Because many of y'all were never considered white. Many of y'all were never considered privileged. Y'all were once people of color, but the system narrated your life. They told you your skin is lighter, you're white. No, you're not. Look at your heritage. Because I'm looking at mine. I live mine every day. I'm Jamaican, Cuban, Thai, Indian. 3 parts of the struggle. 3 parts of the struggle. Three parts of genocide against the people. But yet, why are y'all so angry? Why are y'all so frustrated? If y'all want to keep on being complacent, and y'all want to keep on serving these people out here who's murdering y'all want to keep on apologizing for their medicine, go ahead. But remember, we never knew it would be Dwayne Jeune. We didn't know it would be Akai Gurley. We didn't know it would be Eric Gardner. There are no names on the list. It happens when they feel like making it happen. And they justify it by saying that their life was threatened. I'm sorry. You got a firearm. How's your life threatened? You have 10 rounds in there. How's your life threatened? How is it that this youth, I could call him youth, because he was younger than me. How is it that he threatens y'all? Why? Because he had a mental health illness that you didn't understand? Then quit your job.
Yep.
Quit your job. If you can't be there for the people in the community, quit your job.
Leave.
Because you shouldn't be responding to a mental health crisis. The mental health crisis hotline and team should be responding to that. I'm gonna tell you another thing. Jamani Williams said, I don't know if they violated protocol. We need to investigate them. I tell you, that's a damn lie. That's a damn lie. All he has to do is just pick up the patrol guide for the NYPD, all 3,000 pages, and read it. It's in the first couple of pages there. When you call in for an EDP, which is mostly disturbed person, so I'm gonna run it down. I'm gonna educate the NYPD since they don't know their own protocol. I'm gonna educate Jamani and the rest of these fake officials out here who wanna act like they represent our people, but they're out here taking what we got in our community and throwing it to everybody else. So when you call for an emotionally disturbed person, first things first is a supervisor has to be on site before you can even engage that person. There was no supervisor on site at all. At all. Second, that supervisor is supposed to call in ESU, which is Emergency Services Unit. They're supposed to come in. Now, they're not innocent. They commit atrocities too, but at least they got a little bit more training. I think they got like 6 hours more training when it comes to dealing with mental health people. But yet, none of that happened. Violation of the protocol. Then I look in the newspaper today and Commissioner James O'Neill, what's up, Jimmy, how you doing? He wants to say that he supports the officer, that no violation was committed. So evidently James O'Neill needs to look back at his patrol guide himself. Because it's a shame that the people know your patrol guide, that's for you, but you don't. Let's be real about this. Let's be real about this. Like I said, I'm sick and tired of these lying narratives about our people. This is how to get the people to believe that we are such a violent people. This is why every time we walk past somebody with a purse, they want to clutch it a little bit tighter. But yet they don't want to provide the help. They don't want to use their privilege to help us. But it's all right though. It's all right though. We'll make it. I don't need y'all to tell us we'll make it. I'll say we'll make it. Because we've went through worse and we came out on top. We're gonna get through this. We're gonna take back our communities. I officially declare Flatbush Gardens a no-cop zone. That's coming from me, myself. Flatbush Gardens is a no-cop zone. District 45 is a no-cop zone. Because if they can't come in and do their job, matter of fact, I'm sorry, they did do their job. If they can't come in and do the least that we expect them to do, then there's a problem. They want to show up when we have a crisis in our families and displace our families. They want to show up and murder our families. The same slave tactics from the beginning. And I'm going to say it because slavery hasn't been over, people. Mass incarceration is the new enslavement. Broken windows is the new Jim Crow era laws. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Jamani and the rest of these city council members who have been supporting these police officers, who have been getting funding from these police officers, who when they come into the community anytime that there's a camera, they need to be ousted out of our community. They do not represent our community at all. At all. At all. I'm calling for an independent investigation, and it better happen. I'm not calling for an overhaul committee like Jamani's doing, because they already had one called the CCRB that works for the system. I'm calling for the CCRB to be disbanded and for the people in the community to elect an actual CCRB board. Members in the community need to start running what's going on in the community. Members in the community need to start policing the community. Members in the community need to start taking back the community. because they're trying to kick us out of our community. How many out there are living in a shelter right now?
Too many.
How many out there are living in fear of your rent raised again?
Everybody.
How many out there walking around and praying every time your child leaves the house for your child to come back home safely? Not because of the gangs, but because of the police.
Right.
It's time for the community boards and the community organizations to start coming together and work with each other. No more divisiveness. Work together. That's the only way we're going to save our people. That's the only way we're going to save ourselves from what's going on with us. Because the displacements, the high rents, the developers, and the police, it's not something new. And it's not something coincidental. It's systemic. It happens. It's been going on for the longest time. It's been going on. Displacement and gentrification is the imperialism. It's been going on. Mass incarceration is your enslavement. Broken windows where you could be walking down the block and you drop tissue on your sidewalk and don't even get 5 seconds to pick it up. But yet they want to ticket you and cite it for you and then run your name and then try to get you on an old warrant that should have been vacated. Or you can't afford to be on the subway. So what are you going to do? You got to get to work. You got to get to your children. But they want to persecute you for living in poverty. The same poverty that they set for you. The same poverty that the system made. Because how is it that the NYPD gets $5.5 billion a year, but yet we can't even get affordable housing?
Oh yeah.
How's it if NYPD gets $5.5 billion a year, but yet they give you a hard time because they violated your civil rights and they don't even pay you out for that? They try to give you bottom dollar. How's it the NYPD gets $5.5 billion a year and your city council members who've been in for 8 years are making $156,000 a year, but yet you can't buy a grocery or milk for your children? There's a problem. It's not you.
Nah.
It's not the fact that you didn't work enough hours. It's not the fact that you couldn't get enough overtime. It's the fact that they put this in place to keep you where you're at.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So let me tell y'all a little story about the city council. All the members of the city council who basically, like I said, we're pushing them out this year, they gave themselves a raise from $96,000 to $156,000 last year. They voted on that. I have never seen $156,000 ever. I don't think I ever wrote $156,000 in a math equation before. But yet they gave themselves this raise. They're living in nice houses. Gentrification is not affecting them. High rents are not affecting them. They're driving in cars while we got paid $2.75, which is about to go to $3 to get inside the subway. But yet they're here for us. But they're here for us. But a lot of y'all would say, I love them. Why do you love them? Ask yourself this. Besides the fact that the budget letters they put out saying that I allocated millions to this organization, what have they done for you? What have they done for your family? Ask yourself that. And then look around you. And ask yourself that again. And then come to the realization they haven't. They supported the organizations that helped them get into office. They supported organizations that are for their private agendas and their private interests. They're not being held accountable. Well, guess what? I'm going to hold them accountable. Persephone's going to hold them accountable. Frank's going to hold them accountable. James going to hold them accountable. Carmen's going to hold them accountable. That's the way it needs to be. The people in the community needs to rise up, same way we're rising up to take these offices. Same way we're rising up to take our movement to another level. Because Malcolm X said it. We march. We chant. What's next? This is what's next. Our empowerment is what's next. Our taking back our communities are what's next. You don't live in the ghetto. You live in your neighborhood, which will soon become your community, which we will fight to become your community. They took away all of our public programs. They took away our after school for our children. They put bright lights in our housing. They're out here oppressing and murdering us. It ends. Not tomorrow, but today. It ends. And I hold them all accountable for this. I hold them all accountable. Because you just don't come around when there's tragedy. You come around when your neighbors need you. You come around when they need a hug. You come around when they need a handshake. You come around when they need a good morning or a good night or a prayer. You just don't pray for them when they have a tragedy. You don't come to them when they have a tragedy. You come to them in the times that they need you, which is every day. Don't wait until it's too late. Simple as that. Like I said, I can't speak on the behalf of Dwayne Jeune's parents because their pain is a greater pain than what I'm feeling right now because they lost their child. But I will speak on the behalf of this community that I've been living in for all my life. And I love my community. Those who know me know I love my community. I love it. Day to day, I'm in here and I'm loving it. Loving it. I want y'all to start loving yourselves too. Loving yourselves to the point where you realize how valuable you are. And this is why they don't want us where we're at. Because we're so valuable. We built this country. They committed genocide of the innocent people who were here before us. They enslaved the rest of us and brought us in. And now we're here. And we're here to stay. There's no more kicking us out. There's no more immigration bans. There's no more deportations. Because like I said, I am calling a stop on all of this. If ICE comes to this side of the community, I want the community to rise up and run them out. If the police come in the community and murder another man, I want you to keep them outside of your community and you console the family. You make sure you're there for your community. You start organizing. All it takes is one. That's all it takes is one. You don't need a group to organize. All it takes is one. Everybody else will follow your lead. Yep. That's all it will take. Because I want to show you how it all takes one. I want y'all to pair this way. Flatbush Guard Security ain't here no more. The NYPD who try to come oppress us, they ain't here no more. They know their lines and their boundaries. Same way I caught them here laughing the day that they murdered Dwayne Jeune. I caught them here laughing and joking about it. Talking about the thin blue line. Well, let me tell y'all something about y'all thin blue line. That's a wall y'all want to put up. And I'm kicking down that wall because I'm tired of it. We're tired of it. That could be any of us any day because those names on the oppression list the list is not in order. It can happen to any of us. Miss Jeune didn't know that she'll fall into this line of people that lost their loved ones. Akai Gurley's aunt didn't think she'd be the same way. Chantel Davis' family didn't think they'll be the same way. Kamani Gray's family, Eric Garner's family, they all did not know that they'll be the same way. And I stand with them every single day. That is my family. I have embraced them. Same way I want the community to start embracing themselves. Because we are beautiful. We helped build this. Just because there's a name on the building doesn't mean it's not ours. We built the foundations here. We built it. The only reason the police came into effect with us was because they wanted to displace us. They felt we were getting too ahead of ourselves. They knew that together we're strong. So I call on all you to start coming together again. No longer is complacency allowed in our communities. No longer are apologists for a racist policing system allowed in our communities. Because if you apologize for them, you're accepting what they're doing to us. And your acceptance is our death. And I'm tired of our people dying. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. Because the same way that one security guy want to go over there and thought, what, they were going to come in and muscle in on us? People like that is what caused us to have what we have in this community. They're the reasons why we get murdered out here. Because the system will appease their privilege over our right. But the police decide they ain't gonna come over here because they have no justification or jurisdiction over what we're doing. It's not because I'm a cop watcher. It's not because I'm running for city council. I throw it all out the bat. Put that all aside. Right. But it's the fact that if this person has the audacity to speak against us, to speak to us, and to bring the people together, we don't want to be a part of that. Because they might see us every day and they might speak against us too. It stops. It stops. So I want to bring in Frank. He's running for City Council of District 27 of the Queens. Another person who definitely is on the same message when it comes to the system.
Now I'm gonna speak a little louder than my brother, because I want everybody in Flatbush Gardens that can hear my voice. If you are outraged by what happened to our brother, Dwayne, Jeune, you need to join us and let your voice be heard. Let NYPD and all law enforcement know we will not tolerate the continued murder of our loved ones. Join us, Flatbush Gardens, if you are outraged of what happened to Akai Gurley by the 67th precinct. If you are outraged by what happened to Kamani Gray, come on out. Let your voice be heard. Do not allow your silence to condone police violence. Come on out. We here, we waiting on you. We want to hear what you got to say. Flatbush Gardens, don't stand on the sidelines. Join us right here on the front lines. Demand an end to all forms of discrimination, oppression, and police brutality. We want to hear what you got to say, what you think needs to be done, what laws should be passed in order to make police brutality a thing of the past. Come on out, Flatbush Gardens. You're not too young, you're not too old. Do not wait until you are a victim. Join us, stand here with us in solidarity. And all the good cops, if you are truly a good cop, then you will condemn these actions by these venomous pigs, these law-breaking pigs. Where you at, Flatbush? Come on out. Come on out. Make a stand. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. How you doing, sister?
I just hear that they should go back to using the clubs and putting people down with the billy club rather than tasing or rather than shooting. If the person, because with a knife, you can control that by just shooting the person. If the person pull a gun on you, that's a different story. But in the situation that happened, I believe that they should have been able to just restrain the person and bring them down.
That's a good point. And I'd like to see that made into a law. If the so-called perpetrator or offender does not actually have a gun on him, then NYPD should under no circumstances be authorized to use a firearm. That is the only time that a firearm should be used, is if the target or the offender or the perpetrator has a firearm that is clearly displayed. If you are that goddamn afraid for your life and you took an oath to serve and protect, you are breaking your oath.
Get a new job.
You are a coward. If you are that goddamn afraid for your life,
Go home.
go home and crawl under your goddamn bed, you coward. We walk these streets every day with no gun. And we got just cause to be afraid for our life every day because we got to face y'all. I like to see that a law. Who else want to say something? Come on out, Flatbush Gardens. Go ahead. Thank y'all for joining us, man. Thank y'all, man. Y'all look like concerned residents and citizens, man. We all got to come together to put an end to this nonsense. I want to see your youngsters grow up. Free from police brutality, free from police harassment. If you got a youngster, black men, black women, you got a child, you know the fear that you live with daily. If your youngster or your loved one is confronted by NYPD, they don't have to be doing nothing at all. Absolutely nothing. And we know they could be thrown to the ground. They could be tased. And while they tasing you and putting all type of judo holes on you, they're telling you, stop moving, stop resisting. Now how the hell is that possible? How is that possible? You in pain and they're telling you stop moving, stop resisting. And they're increasing the application of judo holes and pressure point pains on you. There's absolutely no way anyone can stop moving. You got your goddamn knee on my neck telling me don't move. The hell is wrong with you? We need laws to change all of that. We need elected officials that's going to stand up and bring this community together so together we can demand laws that will deter NYPD from violating your human rights. Come on out, Flatbush. Come on out, Flatbush Gardens. Don't be afraid of them pigs. They don't bite you when you're in a group. They only attack you when you're by yourself, like a coward. Come on out. Don't be afraid, Flatbush. Show your outrage. Show your outrage to what the police did to Dwayne, Jeune, our brother. Come on out, Flatbush Gardens. I do not give them the benefit of the doubt because I have no doubt that they're not here for my benefit. They're not here to benefit me. They're not here to benefit you. Have no doubt about that. So why would we ever give them the benefit of the doubt? It's always the same old story. I thought he had a gun. I was afraid for my life. His hands moved. He lunged at me. No, you murdered our brother in cold blood. And you got the rest of your gang in blue standing behind you. You got these corrupt elected officials saying the same old shit. Sorry, excuse my language. I speak French sometimes. They're saying the same old shit, but doing absolutely nothing. Where are the laws? Where are the laws? Elected officials are lawmakers. That means you are supposed to make laws. Where are the laws dealing with police brutality? Come on, black people. We got to be honest. These so-called elected officials have failed us. They're selling us out because a lot of their campaign finances come from Pat Lynch and the PBA. A lot of their campaign finances came from, who's the one that got locked up? Norman Seabrook from the Correction Association Union. That's where they get their money from. That's who financed them. So how are your elected officials going to go against those who are writing the check? Let's talk about it, Flatbush. Let's be real about it. Let's come up with real answers and real solutions to this serious goddamn question. Let's stop NYPD from murdering our loved ones. Like you sign up, man, if that's possible, right, man? All right? Right over here. You got a sign up sheet, Anthony?
You did it. You know,
Listen. We're coming back. We're coming back bigger and better.